alertos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet every single time they think of you. And your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. Okay? So today I'm going to talk about in this video how your beliefs, and not just your, like assumptions, but almost like limited beliefs that you might have gotten either from your parents or from the red pill community, how they manifest in your life, the science behind it, and how you can counteract it. Okay, so the reason why I was thinking about this is because I was at the 7-Eleven this morning and I saw the most attractive fucking 7-Eleven worker that I ever fucking met in my life. And I've been through millions of fucking 7-Elevens, okay? And, I'm just gonna call a fucking spade for spade. Most of 7-Eleven workers are fucking dudes, okay? And I'm not hating on anybody who works at the 7-Eleven, right? Okay? But most of them are not in a suit and tie, right? Most of them are not the most classy individuals. Let's just be fucking real, okay? And you know what? If you guys are hating me for that, look, Neo is fucking honest and transparent, okay? But either ways, sorry to you 7-Eleven haters, but either ways, if you're working at a 7-Eleven, you probably hate the job either ways, bro, right? If you're working there and then you go and quit from that job, you'll probably enter to the state of someone who's more happier and you'll look more classy, okay? Not hating on 7-Eleven workers, but either ways, this lady was a fucking MILF, okay? I would go as far as to say she was a nice 8 out of 10, Latina, highlights, okay? And today's Christmas, okay? You're seeing this right now in February, but today's Christmas when I'm making this video. What the fuck is she doing there working on Christmas, right? I'm pretty sure she's probably like the owner of the store or whatever, because 7-Elevens, they all have their own individual owners of locations. And either ways, what was interesting is that every single time that I am in public and I see an attractive girl, I always have this habit of thinking that whenever I make eye contact with her, I have to win the eye contact game. Have you ever heard of that? Where some men believe that you cannot be the first one to look away first, because if you look away first, then that shows weakness. And she might have thought that you were the most handsomest man in the universe, but the moment she sees you look away, it's over for you, pal. You've ruined it. Right? Have you ever heard that one before? Well, I remember hearing that from a red pill content creator, and I'm not going to name his name, Corey Wayne, okay? And he's another one of those Lex Luthor motherfuckers that I love, right? I actually really like Corey Wayne, but I learned this from him, and because I really appreciate the work that he does, I took it as Bible, right? And a lot of the stuff that he says is really beneficial. But because he said this, I have missed out on several opportunities with women just because I got a little too nervous and looked away, and I said, oh, well, what's the fucking point of asking for the number? I looked away, it's over, I blew it. I threw a grenade on myself, right? Well, I was thinking today, of all the fucking times, before I fucking get in a car accident here, of all the fucking times that a girl didn't make eye contact with me, treated me like I didn't exist, and yet I find out that she had a big crush on me. This happened so much when I used to go to school. There was like this one chick who I thought was just fucking sexy as hell. And at the time she had a boyfriend, right? She was a short Latina chick, but big fucking tits, really huge ass, and oh my gosh, she had to wear like the tightest fucking jeans to the point where her ass was just like, help me, and Fuck her, dude. But she's probably the reason why I was failing chemistry. But either ways, we start texting like when we graduate, and tell me why this bitch fucking tells me that she had a crush on me the whole time, and I thought that she fucking hated me. She would give me like the most ugliest bitch stare, and even her bitch stares were sexy as fuck, right? Or what is it called? Resting bitch face, right? And I come to find out that she had a crush on me this whole fucking time. And that's one of the ones that sticks with me, because I swear to God, I did not fucking have a clue. And I know you're probably going to say, well, it's probably because she was just trying to be respectful because she had a boyfriend. But, I mean, that's bullshit, guys. We all know that a lot of women out here don't really respect the relationships, if we're being honest. And I know she wanted me more than him, right? And this guy was a fucking, football player, and I was just some dork in, 10th grade, right? And so what I'm getting at, fellas, is that the way that this works, whenever you have a limited belief, like mine was that in order for a girl to like me, she has to show me a choosing signal, as they call it. She has to make it obvious that she likes me, right? And if she doesn't smile when we make eye contact, then that means that she's not interested, okay? But how many times have we heard of the girl who goes home to her friends and she's like, oh my gosh, I saw the hottest guy in the universe. Oh, he was so fine. And then her girlfriends are like, well, did you make a move? And she's like, no, I was too scared. I looked away. He probably thinks I hate him. I just gave him his receipt and I said, okay, have a good day. And then I just walked to the back of the store. And meanwhile, the guy who probably had a big crush on her is like, damn, bro, she didn't even want to fucking look at me, dude. Well, I guess that's over. But little did he know that the girl actually is at home right now, fingering herself, thinking about biting on his biceps, right? That's because you can't listen to what these red pill content creators tell you. Or you can't listen to the, societal beliefs that are being fed to everybody in the world, or the things that your parents told you when you were growing up. Okay? See, the way that it works, right, is, for example, when I saw this woman at the 7-Eleven, right, I made eye contact with her, and first of all, when I came into the 7-Eleven, I noticed that, because I've seen her before, and I remember thinking to myself the last time that I saw her, I was like, she has to be a manager, because there's no way that she looks that professional, because she had like an overcoat on. What fucking 7-Eleven worker has like a little overcoat on, right? And she looked very professional, very well put together, had the jewelry and everything. And again, maybe she's just that 1% that just wants to work at the 7-Eleven and she just happens to take care of herself, right? But let's fucking be real here. She's a CEO, right? So when I walked in, I noticed that she looked a little nervous, right? Because right away, when I walked in, she most likely noticed right away when I stepped foot in the door. And it's almost like I saw her like do the whole preparation thing with her hair. And, even when the people in front of me were asking for the cigarettes, she looked a little disheveled, And this is a fucking owner of the store, right? Which typically, if someone asks her where are the gold Marlboros, she'll probably be able to find it right away, right? Well, automatically, because my self-concept and my narcissism is through the roof, I told myself, even if it wasn't true, I told myself that it's because she is already getting nervous because she is in love with me, right? She saw me and she's like, oh, fuck, right? Well, when we make eye contact, right, she says, hello, sir, how are you doing? And it wasn't like a big smile that she gave me or was she blushing, but it was a look of that she was almost like trying to play it off, right? Or trying to play cool, right? And it wasn't a look of, okay, what does this guy want or whatever. It was kind of like that, exactly what I said, like playing it off, right? Like she was trying to act cool, like, hello, sir, right? Kind of like those goofy Disney Channel shows where Hannah Montana is trying to act cool in front of the guy that she likes, right? Well, she was so fucking beautiful that I looked away after like 2 seconds, right? And immediately I started thinking to myself, oh, fuck, I just ruined it, right? And after that, she rings me up, I pay for my gas, and she doesn't give me, you know, the cute smile of, okay, see you later, right? She just is looking down at the register, and I walk out and go pump my gas. So for the first 2 seconds while I'm pumping my gas, I'm like, shit, I just ruined that. But then I quickly remember, because I'm God, because I am the I am awareness, and I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not even the guy who put $20 of gas. I'm just the observer of the guy pumping the gas, right? I immediately observed those thoughts where I'm like, oh shit, I ruined it. And I realized, well, first of all, how many fucking times have I gotten the girl when there was no signs whatsoever? Where I manifested a girl who was ignoring me and treating me like I didn't even exist, just by telling myself in my brain, thought transmitting to her that she carries 5 pairs of panties every single time to work because she can't stop fingering herself to me. And then after that, she starts doing all this crazy social media activity where she's basically stalking me. And one thing leads to another. And we're making out in the storage room, right? Even though she hated me because I dated her friend, right? All this stuff to say, all these stories I'm telling you to prove that it doesn't matter what the 3D circumstances show. It doesn't matter what these dating coaches tell you, okay? You see, if I was to have listened to that thought, right, where if you make eye contact with a girl, but then you look away first, then you ruined it. If I was to go by that rhetoric, then I would be single for life, right? Because, yeah, that is true that the majority of the times when a girl likes you, she's going to make it obvious, right? But, again, there are those girls who are so fucking insecure, regardless of how pretty they are, that even when you say they look gorgeous as fuck, they are looking at all the other flaws in their body, and therefore they don't want to make eye contact, especially with the hot guys, because the hot guys make them intimidated. The hot guys make them nervous. How do you know if she's not looking at you? Because you're hot as fuck, and she is just as nervous as you are, right? Just because she's very attractive and just because all the guys are blowing up her DMs does not mean that she's still not going to get nervous around hot guys that she likes. Perhaps you are her actual type, regardless of if you are not tall or not buff. Because maybe the majority of the guys who are hitting on her are ugly as shit. And you're one of the first that stepped into that 7-Eleven who is actually decently attractive, right? You see, the way that it works is you will, if you, for example, think that every girl that you look at and you look away from, you ruin the chances. The way you will say it is the thought will come in your head and say, oh, you ruined it. And then you will believe that. And therefore, you will, even if it is a girl who actually likes you, stop talking to her. You'll move on and you'll feel worse about yourself. And you'll go home and you'll watch all these videos about alpha male strategies and all this bullshit and all this red pill content. And then instead of just manifesting and going in your brain and doing a 5-second first person imaginal act where you're making out with the hot CEO at 7-Eleven, even though she didn't give you eye contact, you will realize that when you go to the end where you guys are fucking each other's brains out in her apartment, the middle where she's not looking at you doesn't even matter. Because whatever you give yourself in your imaginal act is already happening right now. And so, whenever you believe in a limited belief, such as looking away first means that you are not a true alpha and that you just ruin your chances with the hot girl even though she liked you, if you believe that that is something that will have to be proven to you, even if she actually did like you and the fact that you looked away did not matter to her, you will manifest rejection probably the next time simply because that is what you believed. Like, for instance, if I was to have continued in that persistent belief and go back in there and ask for her number, she probably would have said no, right? But not because I looked away first, but because I was in the state of the person who has to maintain eye contact, even though she's looking at me for 2 fucking years straight. And now I'm like, oh, and my eyes are bleeding. And now I have to get fucking a new eye socket like Thor, right? The only reason why those beliefs are true is because you believe them to be true. But again, like this whole idea that you have to be fit in order to get a hot girl. How many times have we seen a delicious, sexy Latina or a fucking gorgeous fucking Brazilian chick or white chick or Asian chick or whatever, who she's just gorgeous, big fucking tits. She has a complete symmetrical, beautiful face of a goddess. And then you look at her husband and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then you come to find out that he's not even rich. He just has the fucking charisma to light up a fucking nation, right? Don't believe what all these content creators are telling you, what your parents are telling you, whether it's about SP or about money, whatever. The only reason why those beliefs are being manifested to prove that they are true is because you are living in the reality where they're true. But the moment that you shift and you go, no, actually that hot girl, that hot CEO at 7-Eleven, the only reason why she didn't look at me is because she was so fucking nervous, right? And when I walked away, she kept looking at my fucking ass, right? Because when I quickly got out of that belief and I was pumping my gas and I was like, no, but wait, a lot of girls still fucking showed interest in me, even when at first it looked like they didn't want anything to do with me. I immediately started getting the thoughts of, well, she probably, I started remembering how she looked nervous when I entered into the fucking 7-Eleven. And I didn't start noticing that until I shifted out of me caring about the whole staring contest, right? So you see, that's what happens when you shift out of that reality of believing in these limited beliefs, or believing that your SP, just because they're in a third party, that means that it's over. They could be fucking married, but when you tell yourself, no, actually they are in love with me and we already bought our second home and we're in our 5th anniversary. Even though they're posting so many fucking stories on Instagram with their new third party, all of a sudden you will start getting thoughts of, well, actually the divorce rate is 50%. And now that I think about it, I have like 5 friends who told me that they know someone who is married and is actually cheating on their spouse. And then you start living in the reality where, shit, even if I wanted to, I could be their mistress. I could be their fuck buddy, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that it's safe for you to cheat, but guys, there's no fucking circumstance that is too good for your God power. Just remember that, okay? I am Neil Lartos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say, and I know you're going to be okay.